Yeah, it had some flaws. Yeah, it kind of felt like a Dragon Ball film at times. You know, especially at the end. They're basically Luffy and might as well have been like Jiren or Vegeta, and they were just like Yo, Hegassen here, and finally in the UK, One Piece Stampede has appeared in the cinemas, and I finally got to see it, and wow, amazing! I can't believe I finally got to see a One Piece film in a UK cinema. It took them so long to get it here. Hopefully now they realise that yes, there is a big fan base here. Please show us these films a little bit earlier instead of having to make us wait and get petitions going and everything. Big well done to everybody who signed the petitions and got the film here in the UK, because seeing it in the cinema was an absolute treat with good friends and a cinema full of One Piece fans. It was a fantastic experience, getting all the cheering going on when all the characters appeared, because this film was just fan service, pure fan service. You know, you don't go into One Piece Stampede expecting heavy story and detailed villain, you know, and big impacts on the overall story. This film isn't canon. You can watch this film and forget about it, because it doesn't play into anything in the overall story. In fact, in this, obviously, Bullet is part of Roger's crew, and he isn't even mentioned as a member of the Roger's crew in the main storyline. So just forget about the plot. There are characters here that shouldn't be here. You know, Kid, for example, he should be locked up in 1-0. Capone shouldn't even have his ship, because Big Mum destroyed his ship. So just forget about the connecting it to the rest of One Piece and just enjoy it as just a big piece of fan service, a love letter, seeing characters that don't normally interact. That was the highlight of this film, and it was great. There are some problems with it, and one of the problems is the fact that because there were so many characters, some of the characters, especially some of the Straw Hats, had to take a bit of a backseat. In fact, some characters literally turned up for one scene or two scenes and then disappeared. Crocodile being the main one, just kind of turned up and was like, I have a plan, and then it just kind of disappeared and then reappeared in the fight. Mihawk turning up, which was epic, got a big cheer, but still he turned up to show off Zoro twice and then buggered off. Like Perona turned up, one cool little scene, really funny scene with Sentomaru, sorry. I've been doing all these 1-0 reviews. Sentomaru, that was a funny scene, and then she disappeared. I mean, even Sentomaru had more scenes than Mihawk and Perona put together, and probably even Crocodile. But yeah, and like I said, the Straw Hats, Frankie probably got mistreated the most, didn't really have that many big scenes, but Luffy, Zoro, Sanji a little bit, and Usopp really shone in this. Unfortunately, Nami and Robin as well, kind of taking more of a backseat, which is a shame. Chopper too, and no Jinbe at all, apart from in one like little still image scene. No Jinbe, but having all of the other characters and stuff more than made up for it, because that was great. The villain, he was bland, let's be honest. He was bland. He was just a big strong guy. His devil fruit made giant mechs. He might as well have just had the giant mech. Did he really need the devil fruit for it? But his devil fruit made giant mechs, so in a lot of the film he was stomping around in a giant mech. The best part was when he wasn't even using his devil fruits and he was just himself and he was fighting all of the supernovas. That was probably one of the best fights in the entire film. The animation on that was fantastic, and seeing all of the supernovas, seeing Aruj get really strong, and seeing X-Drake turn to his Allosaurus, and just reminding how big these characters can get and all of the different powers that they have. That was really awesome. And then in the second half, another little criticism is that we get that I'm going to my second form, and Bullet goes to his second form and he's a great big CGI rock monster, and then kind of turns into Godzilla, and there's times where there's just purple CGI all over the screen, and it was like, this isn't as good. I'd go back to him just pounding people. We got a little bit of that again at the end when his big rock monster thing got blown up, but for a good chunk of the end of the film it was just a big CGI monster thing waving his arms around. It kind of reminded me of Pika from Dressrosa, and he was one of the weakest parts of Dressrosa. And a final little thing I would say is that the film was a little bit predictable. You know, again, I did say that the film wasn't going to be like some big epic story where you got to sit there and think and it makes you question. No, it was just a great big battle royale basically. So there were times where it was very predictable and the story was quite weak, but overall it didn't really ruin it. Even though it was predictable, then moments were still kind of epic. The second I found out about the log pose, I turned to my friend and I was like, I bet Luffy gets that and just smashes it. And I even did that. And then what did Luffy do? He picked it up and he just smashed it. And then when Usopp was firing the seeds, it was like, oh, I bet one of them actually works, because Bullet was like, these have no effect on me, tiny seeds. And it's like, yeah, but one is going to latch on or get in like a place, like in a cog where it breaks. And that's what happened at the end. That's how Bullet kind of got defeated by Usopp's seeds. Talking about Usopp, Usopp was one of the highlights of the film. When I saw the trailers, I was like, oh no, Usopp, even in a film, is getting defeated again. But in this film, he really, really shone. Yeah, he got defeated, but then he had that great speech. He had that great moment where he was protecting Luffy. And at the end of the day, he basically was the main reason why they were able to beat Bullet. So, good film for Usopp. Good film for Luffy. Luffy had some epic moments. Great film for Buggy. Buggy was the highlight character of this film for me. The humour of this film was fantastic. Every single Buggy scene, I was laughing. I felt so bad for him. He kept trying to get away, but he kept getting dragged in. Second, Bartolomeo. All of the Bartolomeo scenes were great. And also, Foxy and Whoppo, they had some really funny scenes as well. Brook farting got the biggest laugh in the cinema. Cinema full of grown adults watching One Piece, all laughing at Brook farting. And that's why you go to the cinema to watch One Piece with a bunch of weebs. Yeah, it was great. And then seeing everybody else, see Sabo and Smoker working together, seeing characters clash that don't normally clash, like Lucci and Sanji, and seeing Boa go Sonic the Hedgehog running up there and kicking Bullet in the chest. That was epic, and this is why you go and see this film. Not for the plot, not for the villain, just to see these characters, just to have a good time, just to laugh at Buggy and Bartolomeo, to see Usopp actually have some epic moments. It was a real joy to watch. Yeah, it had some flaws. Yeah, it kind of felt like a Dragon Ball film at times, you know, especially at the end. They're basically Luffy and might as well have been like Jiren or Vegeta, and they were just like who cares? It was great. It looked fantastic. I just wish it wasn't a big CGI rock monster and we got something more like when he was fighting the supernovas towards the end, because that made it a little bit unbalanced. That the fight at the beginning was better than the fight at the end, but it was just too fun. Fujitora turning up as well. That moment with Fujitora was epic. Came out of nowhere. It was pure fan service, but I didn't care because I was sitting there and I was smiling and just having an absolute blast. So yeah, One Piece Stampede, not the most complex of films. Doesn't make sense when you really think about it in the terms of the plot and everything. Isn't serious at all. And that is kind of why it's a great film. I'm going to give One Piece Stampede a gold tier. Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like, and if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!